bitches, every city in my tribe. Look behind. Booty dominate the world, peaches right.
Date on this one since you want to know, but hold on.
Wow. Comments really don't like you.
Well, I don't care. They're a bunch
Well,
of
you
idiots.
just said more women agree with you than with us. Doesn't seem like it.
I said globally. I don't doubt that there's a bunch of young.
Globally, you've taken a poll. Gotcha.
With you as well.
Yeah, I know the data on this. I'm trying to pull it up on my phone's acting
What's your
funny. But
source?
anyway, the source, I have to. I don't remember the
Tell
study.
me what the number one cause of death is for maternal.
What?
Can you tell me what the number one cause of maternal death is in the United States?
At this point, probably something like preeclampsia or embolisms.
No.
Any other guess?
No, yeah, I mean, tell me, please.
Homicide.
Oh, well, that's
God,
ridiculous, right?
It's not.
Homicide?
And 2/3 of those homicides are attributed to domestic violence.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the abortion or the health of the mother. I thought we were having a healthcare debate.
Absolutely does. You have no idea what kind of situation you are putting someone in.
Yeah, but you could argue that homicides are a leading cause of like death for almost all people in certain age groups, you know, especially reproductive age, you know, outside of cardiovascular disease. That's
if you really care about lowering abortion, you should not be on here promoting abstinence and shaming women. You should be.
I didn't shame any women. I said
yeah,
that.
you would have said, I don't know how you can look at your child.
Yeah, you did say that at the beginning. You walked in here, and that was the first thing.
So if you really want to
that's
reduce
not me trying
abortion, it absolutely is.
That's against you. That's you, not all women.
It absolutely is. That's why one of your first questions is, are you a parent?
Yes, and you never did answer that.
I did. I said I am a parent.
Yes. Said yes.
No. What I asked after that, you know, can you go in there and just, you know, take out your own kid? What would you feel about that? And that's
no, dude.
There's
like
a
you
between killing.
That is such a ridiculous question.
If
you
took
have
a baby out of
no
your belly
idea.
at 20 weeks, if you took a baby out of your belly at 20 weeks, right? Same concept. It's not your definition of, you know, not viable, and it was viable at that point. Yes, but
the youngest there is technology is 21 weeks and a day.
Yes, but there's technology that's used in labs where they do it with animals. We haven't done it with the human yet, but they have it.
Don't use that as if it's applicable in today's society.
Because that was your standard was 20 weeks, not viable outside the womb.
24 weeks is the general standard of viability.
Yes, and your position was that was what made the baby no longer a baby. So I said, if you could at 20 weeks, put it in a machine, then what would you be able to go there and pull the plug on that baby once you took it out of you and looked at it?
Okay.
No, because it has actualized potential, which I have told you several times.
Well, then you're making my argument for me at that point, because there's no difference at all. Inside or out. There's no difference. And you know it.
There is a difference.
Hold on, let me pull up this.
Do you just think women are incubators?
No, I think quite the opposite. I think that it's the most important thing women do, and that it's something that we need to change the culture on.
Right, but if I tell you I can, jump 60 feet, how will you know when I can jump 60 feet?
Well, when I see it, or when I prove that you're a credible person.
When I do it, when I actually jump 60 feet. So you can have this argument of the baby is viable, but you don't know until the baby is born and it is viable.
Yeah, but I only use that standard because that was the standard you said. I would argue if we did it 30 weeks, would you be able to do it? Would you go pull the plug on the baby?
We're talking about
that was about value of a human. Like, you keep switching lanes.
You said that baby's not a human until it's viable outside the womb. That's why I use
that it doesn't have value.
So what babies do have value? That's what I'm saying.
babies
You're
that you decide
devaluing
to
life.
have and
That's
give
my
birth
point
to, they
exactly.
have
You
When
value.
they
devalue
were
life when you
born.
say this. Hold on one second. I'm pulling up the statistic you asked for.
God. If I'm consenting to sex, I'm not consenting to pregnancy. If I'm doing every single thing that I can to prevent this pregnancy, using contraceptives, using condoms, using every single thing in the world, and I still get pregnant off of that pregnancy, like off of having sex, you're going to tell me that I'm not allowed to have an abortion, even though I did everything in my willpower to prevent it?
No, I'm not going to tell you you're not allowed, because obviously the law needs to be changed. But, I would work to change the culture before I work to change the law, obviously.
Why would you want to change the law for someone who clearly didn't want to have a kid and they've been taking the pill, doing everything they can? Why
Well,
would
that's
you
why
want
I
to change
said
the
if
law
we
for someone
change the
who does that?
culture first, hopefully people see it differently. Again, like if you can't tell me the difference between, a
What
child that you've
aspect of
seen.
culture are you looking to change?
And that didn't even answer my question.
What's that?
So go
I said
go
you
ahead,
didn't even
answer her
answer.
question.
I forgot what it was. I'm sorry. I was trying to look
Well,
up
I'm
the
asking you,
bullet
I'm
point.
saying if someone is doing every single thing that they can to prevent a pregnancy and they're doing every single step that was taught in the shitty ass health sex ed courses we had, the shitty ass sex ed course that no one cares about, that as a pro-lifer you should be advocating to fix, if
Yeah, I had
you
that
will not
discussion
allow
too.
abortions, by the way. And I'm asking you, if someone who does everything to prevent it, why should they have to have a kid if they didn't want that kid in the first place? They were trying to prevent it. They didn't want that. So why would you force them to have that kid?
What do you mean? I'm not forcing
What do you
anybody
mean?
to
What
do
do I
If
mean?
the
anything.
Why would
person
you?
has made every attempt to avoid pregnancy by being on birth control and still gets pregnant, should they be allowed to get an abortion?
Well, that's an opinion of mine. That's not that doesn't change the moral
I'm
argument or the
asking your
scientific
opinion.
argument. I think it's hypocritical scientifically. I think it's immoral, but it's still legal in this country right now. So
So are
there's
you
nothing I can do about
advocating
it.
that abortion is immoral, or are you advocating that the law needs to be changed?
I'm
He wants the
advocating
law
that
to change.
legally it's hypocritical and morally it's wrong. But
How is
that's
it legally hypocritical?
because we put the same kind of value on a fetus, human life. We put the same value of life by definition on a person in a coma, like we talked about earlier. So how is it different?
Because a person in a coma has
That's
actually
been the
experienced
argument from the beginning,
consciousness
that you can't
and
have people.
has the opportunity to declare a preference.
You don't know, but you don't know what consciousness is. I mean, that's ridiculous. And if the baby, like we talked about earlier, if the baby was able to come out at any point before the viability term that you gave it, which is 25 weeks, would you then say, okay, we can kill these babies outside the womb? Because
No.
we've seen people in the U.S. argue for postpartum abortion, which is crazy, even
This
crazier.
part of
So,
abortion,
you know,
that doesn't even make
That is
sense.
not that. What are you talking about? That's not postpartum abortion. Is being
there have
sad
been
about the fact that you
arguments
had an
for
abortion.
this.
Can you define abortion for me?
Yes, the termination of a child or a baby's life.
It's not.
No, it's a termination of a pregnancy.
All right, give me your Webster definition of what. I don't look up the definition of abortion on a daily basis like you do.
Well,
So
you
please.
should if you're advocating
You
that
don't
we
even
should
have to look it up daily. You can look it up once.
You can look it up once, and if you're
You can write
advocating
it
that
down.
get rid of
I
the
have
law,
looked it up. I haven't done it. Okay, so here we go.
so you're just saying that you don't know enough about this subject, where you don't, you shouldn't have an opinion of whether or not it should be legal or not because you don't even know what the term means.
No, I'm saying that there's 20 different definitions out there. All right, I've looked at the definition before when somebody brought it up. Yes, of course. There's Webster's. There's internet definitions from all these places like Wikipedia and others. So tell me what definition you were using.
The deliberate termination of pregnancy.
Okay, so in that case, then yes, it's not a postpartum abortion. Okay, it's a postpartum termination. But people have advocated for
Termination
that,
of what?
and that's the point.
What?
You're trying to make a semantic
You are
argument.
totally going off in a different lane. I'm not arguing that.
No one is.
No, I'm
talking
saying
about
people
postpartum
have.
abortion.
I brought
Okay.
that up, and you want to
Well-
derail it by saying, "Well, oh, you're using the wrong semantics in this argument," which is
all right.
crazy.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Okay, yeah, well, that's what I figured. Thanks for going in circles again. See you.
No, but you're welcome, dude.
I was. Bro, what the fuck?
Okay.
I'm so fucking cute, bitch. I'm so fucking cute.